Team 2 of 52 teams of 8. Help make America wiser and kinder with antique rival wisdom team quotes that have passed the test of time to make humanity great, with words of wisdom to encourage, educate and entertain generations for centuries. Give your kids free easy extra advantage math, spelling and reading workbooks you can download for free at stop2think.com. Free easy math wisdom workbooks with Octo-Repetition to grow math self-confidence. Free easy alpha Cypher coded puzzles, teach letters, numbers, and phrases using antique wisdoms that encourage and educate. And since time is money, practice reading faster with 52 teams of antique rival wisdoms that have passed the test of time to encourage, educate and entertain generations for centuries. Team Quote 2.1. Believe you can and you're halfway there. Theodore Roosevelt, 1858 to 1919. That's a powerful quote from Theodore Roosevelt that captures the essential role of self-belief in achievement. It's fascinating how he frames belief not just as a starting point, but as halfway there, suggesting that having conviction in your abilities is as important as the actual work itself. Roosevelt lived this philosophy throughout his life, overcoming severe asthma in his youth through sheer determination, and later facing numerous challenges in his political and personal life. His emphasis on the power of mindset was revolutionary for his time and presaged much of modern psychology's findings about the importance of self-efficacy. The quote's enduring relevance lies in how it acknowledges that success requires both psychological and practical components. You need the confidence to start and persist, combined with the actual effort to complete the journey. It's particularly interesting how this message complements the Confucius quote you shared earlier. One emphasizes persistence regardless of speed, while this one highlights the mental foundation needed to begin and continue that journey. Team Quote 2.2. Good, better, best. Never let it rest till your good is better and your better is best. Saint Jerome, 347 AD, 420 AD. This quote from Saint Jerome presents a powerful philosophy of continuous self-improvement through a memorable, almost rhythmic structure. It's fascinating that a message from the 4th century remains so relevant to modern discussions of personal development and excellence. Saint Jerome, known primarily for translating the Bible into Latin, the Vulgate, embodied this principle in his own scholarly work. He continually revised and improved his translations, demonstrating the very progression he describes, from good to better to best. The quote's three-part progression suggests that excellence isn't a destination but a journey. It discourages complacency at any level of achievement. The phrase, "never let it rest," is particularly striking. It implies that even when we reach what we consider best, there might still be room for improvement. This mindset has influenced fields far beyond Jerome's religious context, from education and sports to business and personal development. It speaks to the human capacity for continuous growth while acknowledging that improvement happens in stages, not all at once. Team Quote 2.3. It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. Frederick Douglass, 1818 to 1895. This profound observation from Frederick Douglass reflects both his personal experience and his deep understanding of human development. As someone who endured slavery and became a leading abolitionist, author, and statesman, Douglass had unique insight into the lasting impacts of trauma and the importance of nurturing children's development. The quote is remarkably prescient, anticipating modern psychological and sociological research about early childhood development and trauma. We now know that adverse childhood experiences can have lasting effects on mental health, behavior, and even physical health throughout adulthood. The metaphor of building versus repairing is particularly apt. Prevention and positive early experiences are indeed more effective and less costly, both personally and societally, than trying to heal adult trauma. This wisdom has significant implications for education, social policy, and parenting. It suggests that investing in children's well-being, through education, healthcare, stable environments, and emotional support, is not just morally right but practically essential for a healthy society. The quote is especially poignant given Douglas's context. He was speaking not just about individual development, but about the deep societal wounds of slavery and the importance of creating a better future for subsequent generations. Team Quote 2.4. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Benjamin Franklin 1706 to 1790. This insightful quote from Benjamin Franklin beautifully frames education and learning as a form of investment, drawing on his expertise both as an intellectual and as a successful businessman. The metaphor of knowledge earning interest is particularly clever, suggesting that learning compounds over time, much like financial investments. Franklin himself embodied this philosophy throughout his life, from his early self-education through books, to his constant experimentation and invention, to his founding of institutions like the Library Company of Philadelphia and the University of Pennsylvania. He understood that knowledge wasn't just abstract learning, but a practical tool that could generate ongoing returns throughout one's life. The metaphor works on multiple levels. Like financial interest, knowledge tends to compound. Each new thing you learn makes it easier to learn more. The returns on education often continue accumulating throughout life. Knowledge once gained can't be taken away, unlike material wealth. Learning creates opportunities for further growth and development. This perspective feels especially relevant today, when rapid technological change makes continuous learning not just beneficial but essential. It's interesting to note how Franklin's 18th century insight aligns with modern concepts like lifelong learning and intellectual capital. Team Quote 2.5. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. Emma Lazarus 1849 to 1887. This line from Emma Lazarus's sonnet, The New Colossus, has become one of the most powerful and enduring symbols of America's immigrant heritage. Written in 1883 to raise money for the Statue of Liberty's pedestal, these words were later inscribed on the statue's base, where they've greeted countless immigrants arriving at New York Harbor. The power of the quote lies in its compassionate perspective. Rather than seeking the privileged or accomplished, it extends a welcome to those who are weary, destitute, and oppressed. The phrase, yearning to breathe free, is particularly evocative, capturing both the physical and spiritual dimensions of the immigrant experience. The desire not just for material improvement, but for fundamental human dignity and liberty. Lazarus, herself from a Jewish immigrant family, wrote this at a time when America was experiencing significant immigration from Europe. The poem transformed the Statue of Liberty from a symbol of Franco-American friendship into a beacon of hope for immigrants worldwide. The quote's resonance continues today in debates about immigration, refugee policy, and national identity. It represents an ideal of America as a refuge and land of opportunity, welcoming those seeking a better life regardless of their origins or circumstances. A vision that still inspires and challenges us in the modern era. Team Quote 2.6. Fortune favors the audacious. Desiderius Erasmus 1466 to 1536. This powerful maxim from Erasmus, while often quoted in Latin as Fortuna audaces juvat, carries a timeless message about the relationship between boldness and success. As a Renaissance humanist scholar who took considerable risks in challenging established thinking of his time, Erasmus lived this principle himself. The quote suggests that luck isn't merely random, but can be influenced by our willingness to take calculated risks and seize opportunities. It's interesting that Erasmus, known for his scholarly prudence, would champion audacity, perhaps recognizing that even intellectual progress requires courage to challenge conventional wisdom. It's worth noting that this idea appears in various forms across many cultures and times, from the Roman poet Virgil's Audentes fortuna juvat, to modern phrases like, fortune favors the bold. This recurring theme suggests a universal recognition that playing it safe, while comfortable, rarely leads to extraordinary achievements. However, the wisdom lies in understanding that audacious doesn't mean reckless. It suggests bold action backed by preparation and conviction. Erasmus himself demonstrated this through his scholarly work, which was revolutionary, but also meticulously researched and considered. Team Quote 2.7. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Marcus Aurelius 121 AD, 180 AD. This quote from Marcus Aurelius's Meditations captures the essence of Stoic ethics in its remarkable simplicity and directness. As both a philosopher and Roman emperor, Aurelius had to constantly wrestle with complex moral decisions, yet he distilled ethical behavior down to these two fundamental principles: truthfulness in speech and righteousness in action. What's particularly striking about this quote is how it leaves no room for moral gray areas or situational ethics. There's no unless or except when. It's an absolute standard for behavior. This aligns with the Stoic belief that virtue is the only true good, and that compromising one's principles causes harm to one's own character. The quote can be broken down into two parallel components. The first part addresses action. If it is not right, do not do it. The second part addresses speech. If it is not true, do not say it. Both parts share the same logical structure. If something fails the test of being right or true, the course of action is clear: don't do it. The simplicity of this framework makes it a powerful guide for decision-making, cutting through the complexities and rationalizations we often use to justify questionable choices. What makes this wisdom particularly relevant today is how it can help navigate a world of increasing moral complexity. In an era of alternative facts and ethical relativism, this ancient guidance provides a clear compass for personal conduct. Team Quote 2.8. The mind is everything. What you think you become. Buddha 567 BC, 484 BC. This profound teaching from the Buddha captures one of the fundamental principles of Buddhist philosophy: the power of thought in shaping our reality and character. It reflects the Buddhist understanding that our thoughts create patterns that ultimately shape our experiences, actions, and very nature. The quote emphasizes the primacy of mind over matter, suggesting that our mental state and thought patterns are not just reflections of who we are, but actually create who we become. This aligns with modern psychological insights about neuroplasticity and cognitive behavioral therapy, the idea that our thoughts can literally reshape our brains and behavior patterns. What's particularly interesting is how this ancient wisdom anticipates contemporary scientific understanding of the mind-body connection and the role of mindset in personal development. The Buddha wasn't just speaking metaphorically. We now know that our thoughts influence our physical brain structure, our stress responses, our immune system, and even our gene expression. It's worth noting how this teaching connects to the broader Buddhist concept of mindfulness, the practice of being aware of and intentional about our thoughts. If our thoughts shape who we become, then being conscious of and carefully cultivating our thought patterns becomes essential to personal growth and well-being. This wisdom seems particularly relevant in today's world, where we're increasingly understanding the importance of mental health and the power of positive psychology in shaping outcomes. It reminds us that we have more control over our development and experience than we might think, through the thoughts we choose to nurture or release. And if you'd like to help raise school test scores and self-confidence, you can give your kids free Easy Extra Advantage math, spelling, and reading workbooks you can download for free at stop2think.com or buy at educationstopshate.com. Free Easy Math Wisdom workbooks with Octo-Repetition to grow math self-confidence. You'll get plenty of repetitive practice of age ranges and averages of our 52 teams of 8 quote authors. Free Easy Alpha Cypher coded puzzles teach letters, numbers, and phrases using antique wisdoms that encourage and educate. Can you decode this Cypher quote of encouragement using either our learning to spell or just for fun instructions? And since time is money, practice reading faster with 52 teams of antique rival wisdoms that have passed the test of time to encourage, educate, and entertain generations for centuries. We offer printed versions and timed videos with background music. Sign up for free weekly emails of 52 teams of antique rival wisdom workbooks with easy math, spelling, and reading practice. And if you'd like to get paid for sharing our wearable wisdoms, keep this in mind. Everyone I know wears a shirt, and most of us change them daily, so change your shirt and change the world. Social equalities are blatantly subliminal antique positive wisdoms repetitively shared without saying a word. This applies to all our wearable shareable wisdoms, like pretty witty baby onesies and baby teas that you and others will see and read multiple times a day. The same is true with pretty witty kids, but they'll also share these wisdoms with anyone that can read at daycare or school. Youthful truths let your kids gain confidence, sharing antique wisdoms with their friends. Imagine them sharing words of wisdom with classmates and teachers. Therefore I think teas I wear is a super easy way to share words of wisdom that have passed the test of time. Our social equalities help make us all wiser and kinder with blatantly subliminal messages, promoting a more fair and equal opportunity society for all. And don't forget our giftwisdoms.com for birthdays and holidays that makes it easy to share the wisdom with clothing, coffee mugs, and magnets. So do the future a favor by encouraging, educating, and entertaining with words of wisdom that have passed the test of time to make us all wiser and kinder. With wearable wisdoms to fit babies, kids, and adults, you can clothe a whole family, city, or state. Join the 52 of 8 today at 52of8.com.